It's Saturday, December 7th, 2019. So yesterday, the stock market surged. Dow Jones closed up 336 points as the jobs report crushed all expectations. I believe these numbers are not real, and I believe that most of you believe the same thing, that this is massive manipulation in regards to the unemployment numbers and massive manipulation in the stock market. There are two things right now driving the stock market. It's fake data, like the data we're getting, and it's the Federal Reserve. These two things now are driving the stock market. We're witnessing massive rigging and manipulation, fake numbers. This is all garbage. And this is very, very dangerous. You know, people will write in the comments, or even people that I may have a discussion with will tell me I have no idea what I'm talking about. And they base it on two things: the record low unemployment at a 50-year low and the stock market all-time high plus 28,000. So they say the economy is good based on these two things: the manipulated unemployment numbers and the manipulated stock market. And when people tell me that, I believe these are the type of people that actually believe in Santa Claus, because they believe everything the television tells them. They believe everything the business analysts on CNBC or Fox Business tells them. These are the type of people, adults, who believe in Santa Claus. Because when you read, when you do some due diligence, when you do your homework, when you look at the facts and the numbers, you know exactly what's going on. This is all a huge lie that we're being sold. Wall Street Journal yesterday: Fed adds $72.8 billion to markets. That's a fact. Balance sheet moves to $4.07 trillion. That's a fact. We have now poured in hundreds of billions of dollars into the repo market. Yet people are telling me that the economy is good, the consumer is strong, that this is normal, that everything is okay. How about 95 million people in America right now not working? I'll go on through this article. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York added $72.8 billion in temporary liquidity to financial markets on Friday. That was yesterday, December 6th. But we're being told everything's okay. These people who write me in the comments telling me that this is all, that I'm telling you doom and gloom and that I'm making this up, I don't know what I'm talking about. These people need to tell me why the Fed is injecting hundreds of billions of dollars into the repo market. Why are they doing this if everything is okay? How come we had 3 straight rate cuts and we're going to be getting another one, I think, in the very near future? So you want to know why markets are surging? You want to know why the Dow is over 28,000 points? The Fed is bailing out banks, they're buying stocks, and they're keeping everything propped up. So the dumb down can tell me how good things are, but all I see is how dangerous things are. This, again, is very, very dangerous. And for the people out there that believe in Santa Claus, the same people that believe that this economy is doing well, that the consumer is strong, these people are going to be in for the shock of their life when this economy turns, when it corrects, and especially when it collapses. Zero hedge. Here's the main reason for today's blockbuster jobs report. You know, now people talk about these job numbers yesterday. This article made some very good points. I'm going to go through it. ADP a couple days ago showed the U.S. economy added just the second fewest number of private payrolls since March of 2010. But boy, did we get a shock yesterday. Quite the contrary. Earlier, this is going back yesterday, earlier today, BLS stunned markets, reporting the U.S. economy added 266,000 jobs, the biggest monthly increase since January. Now, I did a little due diligence. I read a little bit. I actually took a few minutes. Unlike so many people who just think everything's okay because the television tells them it's okay. Let's look a little closer to what happened yesterday. 54,000 manufacturing jobs were added. This is the most since 1998. And this sounds like incredible news. And if it really happened, if it was really the truth, it would be incredible news. It would be great. But this isn't what really happened. But what actually happened is that this was a result of 41,000 General Motor workers who were on strike returning back to their jobs. So you take the 41,000 minus the 54, now you have 13. So that's the real number, not 54. It's actually 13. Let's look a little deeper. Healthcare added 45,000 jobs. And I think healthcare is going to continue adding a lot of jobs because we have an obesity epidemic in America now. People are dying, getting deathly ill with a multitude of diseases because of obesity, because people in America can't stop consuming and they can't stop eating and they can't stop doing drugs. So healthcare is going to be a busy sector, but most of these jobs in healthcare are low paying, many of them below 40-hour work weeks, many of them no health benefits. A lot of these are medical assistants. Many of them are, doing home care type jobs, again, $12, $13, $14 an hour jobs. And many of these are not full-time 40-hour jobs. Let's go a little farther. Professional and technical services added 31,000 jobs. This included 4,800 temporary jobs. As I said earlier, manufacturing added 54, but 41,000 were GM workers going back to work. So there was no new job creation there. Leisure and hospitality, another hot one, added 45,000 jobs. So, people who are cleaning sheets at the hotels, people making your Starbucks latte, people driving for Lyft and Uber, multiple, these are all side hustle type jobs, your masseuse, your personal trainer, again, $10, $12 type jobs. Transportation and warehousing added 16,000 jobs, but 8,000 of those were warehouse jobs. What do you think people are making working at the warehouse? Again, $10, $12, $14. 5,000 of those 16,000 were couriers and messengers. Nobody's making 80 grand a year as a courier or messenger. Financial activities, 13,000 jobs added. 7,000 of those were credit intermediation and related activities. So we need to be hiring more people in this field. Again, not a very high paying job, but we need to be hiring more people in this field to go after the people who are using their credit cards this holiday season who haven't paid off last holiday season. So there's going to be a lot of people needed to go after the money out there on these credit cards that people cannot keep up with. Mining jobs, we lost 7,000 of those. Those are actually good paying jobs. We lost 7,000. Employment in the retail industry, we added 22,000 jobs in merchandise stores, but we lost 18,000 jobs in retail clothing stores. One quick point here, food services and drinking places, restaurants and bars, those type of jobs, waiter, waitresses, bartenders, November posted a decline. So where are all the high-paying jobs? I would probably bet that 80% of these jobs that were created were low-paying, low-wage jobs, did not have health benefits, and did not have 40-hour work weeks. I would bet 80% of these jobs had none of that. So the jobs that are paying well, the jobs with benefits, the jobs with 40 hours are becoming more and more obsolete. Zero Hedge, November, heavy truck orders resume collapse, down 39%, weakest since 2015. So for the people out there who tell me everything is doing so well, how come truck orders continue to get slammed? This is the backbone of America right here. The manufacturing recession is taking a toll on the heavy-duty trucking industry, period. Orders totaled 17,300 units for the month of November, which marks the slowest November since 2015 and a 39% collapse from November of 2018. So we can blame everything on the internet, on Amazon, on e-commerce, but all that stuff has to get shipped. And we're seeing less and less trucks, less and less drivers, less and less freight, less and less shipment. The slowdown is prompting layoffs of hundreds of production workers by companies like Daimler Trucks North America, Volvo Trucks North America, PACCAR Inc., and Navistar Group. Engine manufacturer Cummins Inc. is laying off they're laying off 2,000 white collar employees in the first quarter of 2020. Economy's doing great, isn't it? Here's another story that really hits home. This was on, I believe it's FreightWaves. Celadon, biggest bankruptcy in truckload history expected by midweek. Now, there was a lot of mismanagement. You tie mismanagement in with the economy, and these two factors are big trouble, as we see here. The Indianapolis-based publicly traded trucking carrier employed more than 3,200 drivers and took in more than $1 billion in gross revenue as recently as 2015. The carrier has 2,695 trucks, and they're done. Game over. So a company that was that prosperous just 4 years ago, literally overnight done. With mismanagement and with a slow economy, they're done. Meanwhile, in Canada, Zero Hedge, Canadian employment tumbled unexpectedly by 71,200 jobs in November, the biggest decline since the financial crisis. The jobless rate also rose sharply up 4 ticks, also the biggest monthly jump since the recession. The loonie, which is their currency, plunged as much as 0.7% against the dollar. This was on Zero Hedge yesterday. October credit card usage surges to all-time high as Americans regain their spending mojo. Also on Zero Hedge, October consumer credit jumped by $18.9 billion, almost doubling the previous month's total. Revolving credit now at $1.089 trillion. Student loans and auto loans increased by $33 billion in the third quarter of 2019. Student loan debt is now at $1.639 trillion. Auto loan debt is at $1.194 trillion. I looked at the price of the average new car. It is around $34,000. And when you look at the real numbers, the real facts here in America, 50% of all U.S. workers make less than $33,000 a year. Yet, people have to have their satellite, they have to have navigation, they're putting in all these upgrades. And it's absolutely amazing that when you take in the payment, the average payment of over $500, I think it's about $540, the average new car payment. And if you were able to find a house for $115,000 with a 30-year mortgage, your payment would be about the same or less from what I was reading this morning. So it's unbelievable, the cost of cars, of an education, of healthcare, of food. I don't understand how people are keeping up with it, other than obviously they're using credit cards to get by. They're acquiring massive amounts of debt. I truly believe that people could really save themselves from financial destruction if they really woke up and became financially responsible. If they stopped trying to impress people, stop trying to impress family members, friends, people you don't know with houses and cars. If you have a couple of, 2 people, husband and wife, do they really need, ask yourself, do you need a 5-bedroom house? Do you need 3 extra bedrooms? What could you be doing with that money if you had a smaller payment? You could be preparing. You could be buying assets. You could be putting cash away. But what people do now is they're strapped. Literally 50% of their paycheck is just going to pay their mortgage or their rent because they want to impress you and I. They want to impress people they don't know. They want to impress their uncle, their mom and dad. Look at this house I have. 3 bedrooms that we don't even use. Just think about how ludicrous that is. Driving a car that the minute you drive it off the lot loses about 20% of depreciation right there. Having, a huge car payment for 6, 7, 8 years to impress people you don't even like. Think about what you could be doing if you were driving an older car, you could sleep at night. You would have some extra money. See, these are the same people that say they're broke. They don't have any money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. I can't buy any silver. I can't buy any gold. I can't save any cash because I have a $700 BMW payment, or a $700 Lexus payment, or a $1,000 lease payment, or I have a $3,000 mortgage or a $4,000 mortgage on my 4-bedroom house that me and my wife live in. So think about maybe not impressing people that you don't like or don't know, and actually being able to sleep at night, being able to have the means to be buying assets, to be putting cash away, to have an emergency fund, to building up a preparation for a collapse. Remember, the sales are coming. The sales in real estate, the sales in the stock market, these overvalued asset bubbles will burst, and there are going to be massive sales. We are going to see the biggest wealth transfer the world has ever seen. And if you're over here with your 4-bedroom house and your $700 car payment, you're broke. In fact, you basically just tied a lead anchor on your leg and jumped in the water. So think about what's coming and think about how you can prepare. People go, what can I do? There's nothing I can do. Oh, there's plenty you can do. You can be preparing right now, because most people watching this video know what's coming. Nobody knows when, but we know it's coming. And the economic indicators that we're watching on a daily basis tells us we are much closer than we are farther from this collapse. And I don't think many people will disagree with this. The collapse has begun. The recession has begun clearly. So what can you do about it? Well, you can stop trying to impress people with houses and cars. You can be conservative. You can start living a little bit below your means, saving money, purchasing assets, and mentally getting, and physically and spiritually and financially getting prepared for what is coming. It is absolutely startling with how many people in America are delusional. Now, I don't know if it's all the pharmaceuticals they're taking. I don't know if it's the vape pen, the high levels of THC. I don't know, but the average American is quite literally delusional. And when I read an article like this, it's on a website called reason.com. I literally call this economic suicide. When people tell me that things are well, things are great, I don't know how they can come to that conclusion other than the stock market's up. But when you look at the federal debt here in America, the government debt of $23 trillion, I don't know how you can say the economy is booming when the country is broke, when your country doesn't manufacture, doesn't make anything, when your country is being invaded on a daily basis. I don't get how you can say things are doing great. I'm not here to sell you doom and gloom. I don't sell you anything but reality and the truth. Reason.com. This is economic suicide. The city of Los Angeles is spending $700,000 per apartment now to help the homeless. And in this article, Los Angeles is spending over $1 billion to house the homeless, and it's failing. Skid Row is the worst man-made disaster in the United States. But the crisis, and let me tell you, I've been to Skid Row. It is beyond third world. And if you ever get a chance, if you think the U.S. is doing well, if you think the economy is doing well, if you think the big cities and the infrastructure are doing well, I dare you to come to Los Angeles and go to Skid Row. 50 square blocks of homeless people, thousands upon thousands of people living in cardboard boxes, tents, laying on sidewalks, rats everywhere, garbage everywhere. It's another world. But anyways, this crisis extends far beyond Skid Row and Los Angeles. The state's homeless population here in California has jumped more than 12% in the last 5 years. And let me tell you, that is a very, very conservative number. It's jumped a lot more than that. In 2016, the city of Los Angeles set a target of building 10,000 new housing units within a decade. Here in 2019, only 1% of those apartments will be ready for occupancy. And the people on the street say it's too late. By the time they build all these apartments, there will be 3 times the amount of homeless people just in Los Angeles. And again, these apartments are averaging out to be $700,000. You talk about such mismanagement of money, yet the cities are decaying. The resources are unsustainable. We are running out of money and resources, and the homeless population is growing like it's on steroids. And while this is all going on, $22 billion a year in welfare is going to people who shouldn't even be in this country, who came over here not lawfully. Okay? $22 billion of your tax money is going to welfare for people who shouldn't even be here. Wow. Thousands of people sleep in Skid Row. 50 blocks, thousands of people. There's around 50 to 60,000 homeless people in LA County alone. And again, for those people out there who tell me I'm wrong, that we're heading in the right direction, I dare you, get off your big butt, put down the box of Twinkies, come to Los Angeles. In fact, I'll even meet you. And we can drive around and I'll show you what's happening in the real world here in California. And if you're not convinced with what's happening in Los Angeles, we can go to San Diego and we can look at thousands of homeless people there. We can look at people who are sleeping in their cars driving to work every day because they can't afford a $2,000 a month apartment in San Diego. So they have to sleep in parking lots now with porta potties and sleep in their car and then wake up and go to work every day because they can't afford $2,000 a month in rent. So this is reality. So for the people out there that tell you that everything is good, that the consumer's doing well, the country's doing well, you better take a real good look around, because I'm going to tell you, my eyes aren't deceiving me, nor are my ears. And I don't need to listen to somebody on TV to tell me how great things are. I'm an independent, free-thinking human being who can get in his car, drive somewhere, and see exactly what's going on in his state. And I believe all of us should do that. We should take a look at our cities, take a look at what's happening in our towns, in our states, what's happening. What we do know is a majority of our pensions here in America are now unfunded. Our infrastructure is falling apart. We have a homeless epidemic. We have an opioid and drug epidemic. We have a pharmaceutical epidemic. And yet you believe we're heading in the right direction? Real concerning things here in America. And I don't see things getting better. I see them getting much worse. And all this is going to get much worse when this economy corrects. You haven't seen anything yet. So I'm going to leave you with this on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. All of you are blessed, no doubt about it. And you're blessed because you're awake and you're aware to what's coming and you're preparing for it. So you are a blessed human being, and make sure you thank God for that. The transfer of wealth from workers and savers to governments and big banks continues with Swiss-like precision. The average person in this country is being robbed, and he and she don't even know it. It's obvious as long as people have beer, have football, have EBT cards now where you can take them and actually go get a meal at Del Taco. As long as they have vape pens, credit cards, and Walmart, life is good. While what wealth they have left is being transferred in so many ways, yet they're so blind they don't see it. And by the time they do see it, it will be too late for them. God bless every one of you. Please share this video with everyone. Share it all over social media. Have an incredible weekend. Make sure you're praying for this country. It needs a lot of help.